All right, ladies and gentlemen, what you see before you going up on eBay's classic website for no reserve, starting off at $1 single and selling to the highest bidder for no reserve, is this super rare Sportsman's limo by Sandlimo. Yes, this is one of 29 cars ever made by Sandlimo. It is manufactured with a clean, clear Arizona title in my name. It is registered to me. It has a 17-digit VIN number from Sandlimo, which is still in business, and a manufacturer's certificate of origin. Like I said, it's only one of 29 cars ever built by Sandlimo, and it is a very unique car. And what I mean by that is, ask yourself this question. Out of all the sand rails and dune buggies and UTVs and side-by-sides that are out there, what is currently out there that is a true 100% actual dual sport sand rail or dune buggy or side-by-side that you can use for any outdoor activity if you're an avid outdoorsman? So yes, they have the Polaris Razors and the Can-Ams and the YXZs, which are awesome for the dunes or the backwoods and the trails. They go super fast, 80, 90 miles an hour. This thing can do the exact same thing. It'll probably get up to about 80 miles an hour, keep up with those cars. So they can go out in the dunes just like this. Well, then you ask yourself, well, what about the Polaris Rangers and the Yamaha Vikings and the Commanders, and the Tom cars that do about, 60 miles an hour if you're just kind of like a ranch hand, if you have a big, acre property or multi-acre property out and you have to tend to the horses or the pigs or the farms and you need to get hay and all that. Well, then you have to go with the Polaris Ranger or a Yamaha Viking or a Kawasaki T-Rex. You really can't go out in the dunes with those, but you can with this. So you're gonna ask yourself, well, what am I gonna do with this thing? Well, the answer is everything. Then you can ask yourself, what aren't you gonna do? And the answer is absolutely nothing. This is, like I said, a true outdoor sportsman's multi-season sand rail dune buggy that has killer suspension. This thing is super dialed in with king shocks. It will go out to the dunes, it will go out to the sand, you can go out in the mud, you can go to the possum trails that everyone does the rock crawling with. This thing is perfect for rock crawling if you're a rancher, if you want to go hunting, if you're an avid outdoorsman that wants to go hunting and shoot wild hogs or pigs or hunt coyotes or squirrels or rabbits or quails or ducks. I'll touch on all of that. You can also go camping, take your fishing gear with you, put your tent back there, your coolers. You can actually tow your boat back here, whatever you wanted to tow, any type of little trailer. So this thing has everything going for it, and it is an awesome sand rail that is super cool. So to start, let's go ahead and fire this bad boy up. So right here you had what was a starter button and then the on off for your ignition, but now it's a key to prevent theft because it is street legal, which I will touch on. So you turn this key, which I have two of them, so prevents theft. Electronic fuel pump comes on, and then we go ahead and fire up the car right here. There's the car. Fires right up. We'll go ahead and turn off the car here. So I want you to see that it does have your running lights turn on there in a little red or kind of neon orangish. You have your headlights and driving lights. Like I said, it's all street legal, which I will touch on here. Got your tail lights and brake lights, license plate light right there. Turn signals, which I will turn on. So you have your left turn signal with your indicator light right there, so it lets you know left turn signal's on. So you got your left turn signal right there, so you know your left turn signal is on. Turn on your right turn signal. Right turn signal is on as well, as you can see right there. And then turn that off. You have your horn up there, and then over here you have your GPS, which I will touch on. Turn off the running lights here. GPS for your speed. It's accurate, so you don't need a speedometer. Gives you your latitude and longitude, gives you everything. So we'll go over here, we'll show you the correct date and time. It is Monday, August 31st, 2020. You have your speed. You can go over here to a bigger area, so you can go to pages, and then you can go to navigation, you can go to radar, you can go to map, exit. So like I said, your latitude, longitude, gives you your GPS coordinates, so you never get lost. Street legal, so has your passenger mirror, your rear view mirror, driver's mirror. Like I said, has your horn, your turn signals, tail lights, brake lights, four-wheel brakes, four-wheel disc brakes, license plate light. So everything necessary to be street legal. The only difference is here is I don't BS anybody. There is no indicator turn signal lights for the front, only for the rear. So depending on your local state laws, if you want to go on the highway or the freeway, you're going to have to put on either some type of LED indicator light for the front turn signals. So maybe try to wire a little indicator light here or there, or if you wanted to possibly put 2 indicator lights up here. I don't know how much of a stickler they're going to be, but it has working turn signals in the back. Also on this particular car, it does have power steering, so it's very, very cool. Power steering works absolutely phenomenal in the sand, the snow, the dirt, the mud, whatever. It is very, very touchy, at higher speeds on the freeway and the roadways. So what I would recommend is just kind of get used to the car. If you can pull the fuse and drive it on the roadways, the street without power steering would make a lot of difference. You can just pull the fuse for the power steering. If you wanted to put like some type of toggle switch to kill the power steering on the street, you could do that if you're a wiring guru. And then that way, just hit a toggle switch and it's good for the sand, the snow, the dirt. So it does make the difference, but it's absolutely perfect, when you're in rock crawling, or if you're out in the sand, the snow, the mud, the grass, whatever. Car loves to be out there. Couple other things I want to touch on. So when you look at this, and like I said, a true dual sport multi-season for the summertime, the fall, the winter, and also the springtime. So yeah, if you compare those things, like I said, top end with the Honda, I think they're the Ranchers, and then the Polaris Rangers, and the Yamaha Vikings, and the Tom cars, those things do about 57, maybe 60 miles an hour. This thing will beat it. Do you really see those out in the dunes? You might see a couple of them, but they're not the best for suspension or going off-road. This thing is super cush. And then also comparing to the Razors, so when you think about that, $40,000, $50,000. Well, look at a couple of things that you have to do. You don't get suspension seats. These are BS sand suspension seats, same thing as Renegades or PRPs or Mastercraft. You don't get usually the 5-point harnesses. This has 5-point harnesses in all the seats. The other harness right here is down below. This will accommodate someone up to about 6'5", 6'6", about 300 pounds. Let me turn off the GPS here just for a second. Couple cool things. When, like I said, comparing to the side-by-sides that are out there, is the roofs. Look at the roofs. So when you go to buy one of those, they're usually like plastic or polycarbonate or some kind of literally BS, just junk roof from either China, or they're made in Mexico or Australia. You can look that up where those cars parts are made. They're junk, folks. And out here in Arizona, who do we have? Well, number one, we have Sandlimo. We have Sandlimo Joe Fab, which is a Sandlimo car, which I will show you. And I'll touch on these in a second. Sandlimo. We also have Tato Motorsports. We also have Fodrill. We also have Shock Therapy, which made Predator cars, I believe, and they do all the shock tuning for the UTVs. We also have Geyser Brothers. We also have Weller Racing. We also have Sinfab. So what is the first thing that people do is they go and get, a $2,500, $3,500 cage built here in Arizona. Why? Because those roofs are junk. So look at the welds. It's like a roll of coins. This is all very, very tastefully done. It's very, very sturdy. You're not gonna collapse and get hurt. You know, you're not getting China or, you know, Taiwan steel or junk aluminum. So do yourself a favor, go to your buddy's UTV or your dealership. This is the A post and the B post, or you can grab this as the B post if you want, or C post. Just grab it right in the middle. You know, I'm 6'2", 230 pounds, and shake the car side to side. You see that? There's really hardly any body roll. And that's the problem with those UTVs, and the safety factor is the body roll. They have a higher center of gravity and a shorter wheelbase. The track width from tire to tire on those things is about 64 inches when they first started, because they try to tout them and put them in toy haulers. Hey, this can go in your toy hauler, you don't need a trailer. Well, then people started rolling those things, and they started doing wheel spacers. You know, you get a wheel spacer for, you know, $100. You put in 2-inch wheel spacers on each side, and then now you have, you know, 68 inches. Well, that kind of wasn't enough, so then they made the long travel kits, you know, with Lone Star Racing, which gets you up to, you know, 78 inches. And, you know, those are $6,500 for a long travel kit, which helps the stability of the car. It does work. You know, a lot of it's driver error, but, you know, they're putting on wheel spacers, and then, you know, they're putting big old lifts on there to get ground clearance. Look at the ground clearance on this. Look at it. Right here. Plenty of ground clearance. You're not going to bottom out anything. Also, look at the history on the Can-Am X3 with the front end. It needs to be re-gusseted, and they make a gusset kit from Weller Racing and Geyser. You can look that up on the forums of the Can-Am X3s. I think they use a single shear tab, and they need to be a dual shear tab, because everything's just literally connected to the supports of the radiator. So if you pull that thing out, if you get stuck in a witch's eye in the dunes, you can actually pull the whole front end of the car. I don't know if they changed that in 2021, but I think it's from 2016 or 17 to 2020. The whole front end is, you know, has to be replaced with a high-tech gusset kit. Also, look at the radius rods on those things. People snapping axles. The radius rods on the Can-Ams, they're not 4130 chromoly. They're just junk. They usually get a lot of rocks in between the wheel, and they'll snap the radius rods. And then this utilizes Porsche 930 boots and CV axles with limiting straps. So, and it has very, very beefed up 3x3 trailing arms. Those actually help eliminate the tire plunge. So when you're going over a whoop, you don't endo and go over, and it keeps the car straight and narrow, versus kind of like the radius rods, which actually increase the side-to-side motion when you land. You can look that up. But also think about this, folks. Recalls. You know, when those cars have recalls, or the Polaris Razor fires, where I think a 15-year-old kid burned to death out in the dunes because of the Razor fires. You can look it up on YouTube. Razor turbo fires. I think they settled somewhere between a 30, 40, or $50 million lawsuit. And then think about this: when people want to make those things go faster, you know, they put exhaust on there. No, an exhaust, that's, you know, about $1,000. Then you do an ECU flash, stage 1, stage 2, stage 3. Then you have to run different fuel. Then you have to carry a belt with you. And then, you know, you're into those cars, $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 that have 200 horsepower. Well, ask yourself this. Have you ever seen a Razor or a Can-Am or a YXZ or Honda Italian with 150,000 miles, 100,000 miles? Go down to 50,000 miles. I have yet to see one even with 10,000 miles. About 5,000 to 6,000 miles on those Razors, it's almost time for a rebuild. You know, and then you're looking at $5,000 or $6,000. So then you're asking yourself, well, what am I gonna do with this? Again, everything, because this isn't powered by a Volkswagen. It's not powered by a Razor motor. This is powered by a factory General Motors Ecotec. This is a 2.2 liter, about 175 horsepower, super reliable. You can go to AutoZone, Pep Boys, O'Reilly's, Checkers, you know, is what they used to be called, America's Parts Authority, get your parts, you know, your water pump, you know, spark plugs, oil filter, everything's readily available. And you're saying to yourself, well, what's a Chevy Ecotec? Well, Chevy Ecotec started, I think, in 1994 with a 1.4 liter, and then these newer models were actually redesigned in 2000 with a 2 liter, and then this came out in 2004 or 2003 with a 2.2 liter, and they still manufacture these Ecotechs today. They're actually 2.5 liters. They went from 2.0s to 2.2s to 2.4s to 2.5. And here's a little trivia. They're such great motors is Polaris, the maker of the Ranger and the Polaris Razor, with the Auto Cycle, the 3-wheeled slingshot, utilizes a Chevy Ecotech 2.4 liter. They stopped producing those for the slingshot in 2020. They made their own like Razor motor, but 2015 and 2019 uses a 2.4 liter Chevy Ecotech. So the great thing about this, folks, is this utilizes a car motor. You could pick these things up for, you know, 750 bucks, 800 bucks. They're good for about 200,000 miles all day long. Super reliable. And then right there, you don't have to worry about a belt, because that is a 6-rib 091 upgraded bus transaxle out of a Volkswagen bus. So you have about 4 stages. You have the Volkswagen Bug transaxle, then you can go to IRS, then you can go to a 002 bus transaxle, then you can go to a 002 5-rib, and then you can go to this bad boy right here, which is 091, very, very strong. And then it has Weddell gears from Bill Capatch at Arizona Transaxle, again here in Arizona, one of the best transaxle builders. And then the next step is Mendiola. So if you think about that and you're like, well, you know, maybe I want a little bit more power, which the car is very, very super reliable right now, great gas mileage, you can, hey, do a Subaru swap. Right there on the back, there is an adapter plate. Kennedy Clutch makes the adapters for all manufacturers' motors. So if you want to put in a Nissan, if you want to put in a Subaru, if you want to put in a Honda, if you want to put in a Corvette motor, you can do it. It's about 8 bolts. The adapter plate for all the cars is about 450 bucks. So on that, you can pick up a used EJ20 Subaru 2.0 liter, about 220 horsepower turbo for about 1,200 bucks. You can put in an EJ Subaru 25 2.5 liter for probably about 1,800 bucks, have pretty close to about 280, 300 horsepower, and then put your adapter plate in there, do your motor mounts, which is super, super easy. You know, you can have a 300 horsepower Subaru. If you don't want to do Subarus, you know, some people don't like them. They're pretty much Porsche Boxster motors with the twin cams. You can do a Honda 4-cylinder VTEC, a little red top, black top, blue top, F20B, 200 horsepower. You can do a Honda V6 or an Acura V6, a J32 Type S. You can pick those up for about 1,700 bucks. You can do a J35. You know, those run you about $2,000 out of a Honda, I think it'd be a Honda Pilot or a CRV with the forged internals. You know, put a turbo on there. And then if you wanted to go super, super crazy and you want to do wheelies, hey, put in a small block Chevy 350, put in an LS1 Corvette, an LS2, an LS3. Then you start have to kind of upgrading towards the Mendiola transaxle, you know, to handle it. You know, if you want to put an LS7 or an LS9 and just demolish everyone out in the dunes. But the car is plenty fast right now. Like I said, it's super reliable. You know, you can put this on a regular trailer. You know, it's about 7 feet wide from tire to tire. And then if it's in the garage, just fine. You know, if you have your typical 7-foot garage height, it'll go in there. Spare tire, which I will give you. The only thing I'm gonna keep is my tire lock and my tire iron and my fuel cell. You can pick this up, you know, from Amazon for probably all 3 of them for less than 100 bucks. But I'll give you the spare tire with the Mickey Thompson 33 1050 15s. Also, the roof rack, or I'm sorry, the cargo rack is fully removable. You can put your guns back there. You can put obviously fuel, your spare tire. You can lay it flat. It's completely removable. If you want to put, you know, your camping gear, if you want to put coolers, your guns, if you want to go hunting, which I will touch on, you could put a bench seat back here for the kiddies. You know, probably put a good 48-inch bench seat for 3 kids back there. Put the seat belts in, just bolt it down, and then be removable. But one of the great things about this car is this is set up for, like I said, any outdoorsman. So if you were any type of active shooter or hunter, and you wanted to go dove hunting, coyote hunting, snake hunting, rabbit hunting, squirrel hunting, quail, you pull this pin and you do these 3 Zeus fasteners. This is very, very cool. And then you pull the other pin, and the entire windshield frame and the rear view mirrors and passenger mirrors and driver's mirror, loosen this nut, this entire frame comes right out and fits securely in these 2 posts right here. And you're asking yourself, well, why would I want to do that? Well, it's simple. That way, if you're out there hunting, you can shoot straight ahead. You can shoot out to the right. You don't have the window in your way. You can put your shotgun, your rifle, you know, any type of game that you want to carry, or you know, put in the back here. If you want to go bear hunting or deer or elk, you know, you can put everything back here. This will go anywhere out in the woods. So it's perfect. You know, you and your buddy can go out there. A couple other things to prevent theft. Like I said, with the key, you have a removable steering wheel, which it's a little tricky to do with one hand. Let me see if I can get it here. No, let me see. I might need 2 hands. I can get it with hopefully 1. There's a little button here. I'm just trying. There it is. It's very hard with 1 hand. To prevent theft, removable steering wheel. You also have a battery kill switch right here. Turn off all the power so nothing will start, so you can turn that, take the key with you. You know, if you want to not take the steering wheel with you, you know, get the regular kind of bike lock that I have, or a cable lock with your spare tire. Put your steering wheel right there. They're gonna have to come and cut it, you know, so you don't have to take the steering wheel with you. Kind of nice, or you know, hide it somewhere. But utilizes the 4-speed Volkswagen transaxle. And then you have your cubby hole down there for your registration, your insurance. Put your cell phone down there. Over there is a ICOM radio. This is more like for like a chase vehicle. This would be like a single car to another car. You'd be like the crew chief talking to them. You'd have to get a lapel mic. You can actually pull that out and get rugged radios. They'd run you about $650 to about $950 for carbon fiber headsets with noise canceling, and you can listen to the radio, Bluetooth, all your music with your iPhone or iPad. I use this right here. You can just plug this in. It uses you know, a double male pin connector from the iPhone, which is about $8, and you can listen to your iPhone music or the radio on there. But you know, they work really, really well if you want to talk to other cars, you know, do your own little channel. Quick clean system, very, very all tastefully done. You have your full roll cage down there, CNC pedals. You have the shock, King shocks here, 3.0s, very, very expensive. You know, you're looking about almost 10 grand for all these shocks. Triple bypass, way better in my opinion than Fox. These things, they use them in the Baja 1000s. Super, super cush ride, triple bypass, remote reservoirs. You can look all this stuff up, fully adjustable, you know, for your rider and your passenger there. Both sides. Look up King shocks. They use them in the Baja 1000. I like them better than Fox. Like I said, you got your trailing arms. And then the last thing I want to touch on, folks, if you're thinking, well, you know, hey, I'm going to need a trailer. Well, you can go to Harbor Freight, pick up a universal tow bar. Put your mounts either here or here or here or here. They use 2 mounts, and it's a universal tow bar. Put it in neutral. You can tow this thing for 100,000 miles behind your RV, behind your pickup truck. You can actually tow it behind a little passenger car. You don't have to disconnect the drive line like a Jeep, and you can tow this thing for 100,000 miles. And then when you're at Harbor Freight, it probably costs you right around $200 total for the tow bar. You can put a winch here. You know, you can put a 3,500 pound ATV, UTV winch, you know, if you want to put a winch there. But it's a very, very, very cool little car. Couple of things, you know, it does have its little wear and tear. The paint's kind of in yachty rhino line material. Very, very water resistant, scratch resistant pretty much. It does have a little bit of flaking right there, but it shows very, very nice. You know, you can take this and get it redone if you wanted to. Do it at a spray and bed liner place, but it's a no reserve auction. The only thing that you really have to do is, I just noticed, it's about $8, is the seal right there on the clutch slave master cylinder has a little bit of a pinhole. They're about $8 for the rubber boots. You know, you could pick those up for about $8 to $10. You know, worst case scenario, if one of the seals is bad, you know, you could put a rebuild kit in there for about $40, and a whole clutch slave master cylinder is about $75. It'll take you about 15-20 minutes. You just put that on there and bleed the bleeder right there. But it does have a little bit of a pinhole. Like I said, the car handles very, very well. It is a no reserve auction. It will sell to the highest bidder. If you have any questions about anything, please feel free to email me, call me if you want to stop by for a test drive. It is a no reserve auction. It will sell to the highest bidder. Don't wait until the last minute, folks, because you'll get outbid. And it's a very, very cool, unique car. Like I said, you'll never see another one of these anywhere around. It's perfect for any season. If you have any questions, let me know. Thank you and good luck.